Hey, what's up? This is Scott, the Frozen Gamer, here with another installment of the top 100 most owned games that came out in 2023. Now, this is my third time recording this video. The first time, I don't think I hit play. The second time, I put it on time-lapse video instead of normal video. And so here I am, time number 3, and this list is going to be a little interesting this time. So I got sick a couple weeks ago. You may hear me coughing, or I might have to take some cough breaks. You might hear a little wheeze, even, if you're lucky. Maybe. During the couple weeks that I was sick, I somehow lost all the data that I collected for this list. I know the number one most important thing when you collect data is don't lose the data, and somehow I lost the data. I don't know if I saved the file. I thought I saved the file. If I did, I don't know where it went to on my computer. It's missing from my hard drive. It's missing from the trash. I don't know where it went. So I had to do this all over again. I had to go through 73 pages of Board Game Geek's most owned games to find the top 100 for 2023 and create a whole new list. And in the meantime, from the time I took the data originally on New Year's Day of 2024 to a few weeks later here, a couple weeks later here in 2024, some of these games have shifted a bit. Three of them fell off the top 100. That means 3 new ones jumped on. Some that were in the top 90 to 81 or higher even, maybe, I don't even know because I don't have the original data, have dropped down to 91 through 100, and a couple of those games that were in 91 through 100 that I have in my previous video have now jumped up into this video. So I will mention all of them. I'll let you know exactly what happened. So let's start. So first of all, what are the 3 games that fell off the list? They are Imperial Miners, 5 Towers, and Books of Time. Once in the top 100, now they dropped out of the top 100 most owned games from 2023. But I'm keeping them for my record, so when I recheck this in halfway through the year and at the end of the year, I will have 103 games now to check instead of 100. So the first new game that is now on this list in the 100 through the 91 list that was previously from last week, and I know this one's actually new to the list top 100 as a whole, is Last Light by Grey Fox Games and Dice Tower's own Roy Cannaday. The little blurb for Last Light says, alien factions gather light from a white dwarf star at the end of the universe. Its stats are 1,626 people have claimed to own this game on Board Game Geek. 2,898 is its BGG ranking, which put it 72nd out of all games that came out in 2023. It has a 7.48 BGG rating, which put it as 72 out of 100 games for the highest rating of these 100 games. This is a 4X game that is played under an hour. That was the main selling point on it. And it's got this cool rotating board, so you're not always stuck in the same compartment, or it takes a long time to travel across the board. It also has a really cool table presence with these 3D marble-looking planets, and it just looks awesome and a lot of fun. I own the game. I haven't played it yet. I'm saving it. I have the expansion as well, so I'm saving it for a 6 to 8 player game night, so we can just have a huge game of it, and I want to experience it that way first. So, haven't played it yet, but I'm super excited to play it. And that's number 99 now with this new list, since I had to start over again, is Last Light. Number 96 is Daybreak by Matt Leacock and Matteo Menepas by CMYK Games. Its blurb is cooperatively decarbonize the planet and create resilient societies. So Matt Leacock, obviously known for Pandemic and the Forbidden games like Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert, and so forth, and just a master on co-ops. So this is another co-op game, and this one is about global warming and keeping the climate at bay. And what you're trying to do is you're a world power, and the way, like most co-op games, there's multiple ways to lose a game and only one way to win the game. So you lose this game if one of your world powers gets kind of overrun, then you lose the game. Everyone loses. If the temperature gets too high, then everyone loses as well. The way you win the game is if you get your global emissions down to 0, which is you save the world, which is great. And I think the game looks really pretty. It's got this cool like rainbowy look to it, and I love the theme. I'm happy that people are playing it. I'm happy that it's doing well, which I'll show you that it is doing well with the actual analysis of the stats here. So we got Daybreak came in at number 96 because 1,669 people have said they own it. It has a BGG ranking of 2,792, which put it at 67th highest ranked game of the year. It has a 7.67 BGG rating, which put it at 57 out of the top 100 games. Or not top 100 games, these 100 games. So it is doing well. It's doing well critically. It's sold well. And that makes me very happy for this theme being represented in the game. That's doing well. Number 95 is Shake that city. It's really just shake that city. Shake out patterns of cubes and use them to build the best city block. And that's what you do in this game. I've watched this one played before, and I really want to give it a try. It's got this kind of gimmicky mechanism, but it looks really cool. It looks like it actually works, and not just a gimmick. It's you take this little contraption that has a bunch of cubes in it of different colors, and you set it down on the table, and you push a little button, and this little 3x3 grid of cubes comes out. And when it's your turn, when you're the first player, you say, I'm going to take, let's say, the red cubes. And whatever pattern they are on the grid is the pattern you have to put them onto your city block. And then after you've picked your red cubes, let's say, then no one else can take the red cubes, but simultaneously, any of them, they can all take whatever color remaining on the board. And then they put them in the same pattern as the cubes are onto their player board, the tiles onto their player board, not the cubes. That would be ridiculous. So anyways, it looks like a really cool game. It looks very fun, pretty light, but fun game. And let's hear its stats. It is 1,680 people own it, which put it 95 for the year on this new list. 3,392 BGG ranking, put it 100 for the year out of all games that came out in 2023. A 7.21 rating, which put it 92 out of these 100 games. The next new game to the list, in what would have been on the previous list, is a game I was super excited about when I first heard about it, because this is embarrassing. I thought it was about something completely different. It's Unmatched. So let me tell you about Unmatched first. Unmatched is a battler game, a two-person battler game where you're attacking each other, and you move around a little board that have different colored circles on them, and each of those colors represents a different range, so you don't need to do that silly little lining up I touched that corner of your box. No, it's whatever color the circle is. It's really convenient. And everyone has their own player and their own sidekicks, and they have their own player cards, their own decks of cards that they use that are different from everyone else's, vastly different from everyone else's. And there's just tons of characters in the Unmatched system now. And this version that came in at number 94, most owned game of the year, is of 2023 games, that is Unmatched Teen Spirit. And I thought it smells like Teen Spirit. And they somehow got the rights to Nirvana. And I was going to be playing as Kurt Cobain and Dave Grohl and the rest of the band. And I was super excited about that. And then I found out, no, Teen Spirit is Marvel. And I am not a superhero fan or comic book fan. So this version of the game, this module, not for me, but again, most people do like Marvel. So if you do, Unmatched is awesome. I own it on iOS, on the app. And definitely get this one if you like Marvel. It contains Ms. Marvel, Squirrel Girl, and the team of Cloak and Dagger from the Marvel comic universe. Yeah, so that's it. And did I say their stats? Marvel stats, 1,684 people own it, putting it 94 for the year. 4,303 BGG ranking, which put it 146 out of 2023 games. 7.97 BGG rating, which put it at 36 out of these 100 games. That is Unmatched Teen Spirit, not the band, the comics. Next up is the last one that jumped into this range, or the previous week's range, and that is at number 91, Chicken! Exclamation! Yeah! So Chicken is roll chickens, hatch eggs, and avoid those pesky foxes. And this is a dice chucking, or should I say dice clocking? No, I shouldn't have said that. A dice chucking push your luck game. And basically you get your dice from your dice from the person in front of you. You roll them, or you can not roll all the dice. You can take some away and roll less dice, but then you have chickened out and you take a penalty. And then you roll them, and you can keep rolling them. And if you ever get 3 foxes, you bust. Otherwise, you stop and keep your points. First to 25 points wins. It's a very light, push your luck dice rolling game. And it looks like it's pretty fun. So that is number 91, Chicken. Its stats are 1,709 people have claimed to own Chicken on Board Game Geek, which put it at 91st. 4,593 is its BGG ranking, which puts it 159th for games that came out in 2023. It's got a 6.72 BGG rating, which puts it 98 out of these 100 games. So now we are on the actual list of where I was supposed to start this video, and that's 90 through 81. And number 90 is Casting Shadows by Rami Batty and Unstable Games. Now, I know nothing about this game. I completely did not follow the Kickstarter at all, for whatever reason. Don't remember it coming out, and there's not a whole lot about it on Board Game Geek, but a lot of people bought it. So I'll tell you the limited bit about it that I know. And it says, build your power, transform into your shadow form, and eliminate your opponents. So basically, you have a character on one side of a card, and you start collecting resources, which allow you to learn new spells, and allows you to cast your shadow, which then you flip over your board, and you become this big shadow character. And then you can start attacking the other players, and you try to eliminate them, a la King of Tokyo. So until there's like a King of the Mountain, one person left. And if you are that lone person, you win the game. And that's what I know about the game. It has a rating it came in at number 90 with 1,712 people owning the game. It's got 7,467 ranking on Board Game Geek, which puts it at the 304th highest rated game that came out in 2023. It's got a 6.38 BGG rating, which put it at 100. So it sold a little better than its critical ranking has come out to be. But if it sounds like something for you, definitely give it a shot. And that's Casting Shadows. I am really happy that number 89 made the list because I love the first game from this series. I guess this is the sequel of it. And this is Subterra 2 Inferno's Edge. Explore the temple, grab the artifact, and escape before the volcano wakes. It's by Tim Pinder and Inside the Box Board Games. And what you're doing in Subterra 2 is you're traveling within this tunnel system, within this temple, within a volcano. And you have to go through this temple. It starts with just like a tile to start the game. And it's a co-op game, so you're playing with a bunch of other characters on the board. And when you go, you explore the new parts of the temple by putting out new tiles. And when you put out the new tiles, lots of times bad things happen when you put out the new tiles, and parts of the temple might crumble or whatever happens. And eventually bad guys are these monster characters are gonna come out, and they're gonna be kind of going after you as well. And when they're going after you, you're trying to find these 3 keys and then get out of the temple. And when you're going, they're like chasing after you, but you're trying to find these keys and going in other directions, or maybe you have to go in their direction, they block where you want to go, and so now you have to find a new way around and change all of your plans. By the end of the game, it's just chaos. The games usually end with a really close outcome of barely winning or barely losing, at least in Subterra 1. I'm sure it's the same in Subterra 2, so highly recommend the game. I know there was some gossipy stuff that happened with the companies that I tried not to follow because I don't like following that type of stuff. It's the one thing I don't like following in board games. So all I know is I have seen this game on Amazon. I have seen it on the secondhand market around town. So it is out there. You can get the game. That's the good news. And that is Subterra 2 Inferno's Edge. Its stats are number 89, most owned game of 2023. It's got 1,715 people owning it, 3,168 Board Game Geek ranking, which puts it 84th for 2023 games. It's got a 7.5 BGG rating, which puts it at the 67th most highest rated game out of these 100. Well, number 88, I haven't played either. I tend to follow games more than I play them and look into the statistics of games and the data of games and what games are coming out and what games are hanging around more than I actually play the games. I do play a lot of games too, but I'm really into this type of stuff too. So I know about the games, but haven't played them. But this one is Hollywood 1947. Create masterful films, but beware of communists slipping in propaganda. It's by Travis Hancock and Facade Games. It's part of the Facade Games Dark City series, which is like the Bristol, the Deadwood, Tortuga games that all come in those like fancy, old-fashioned looking book boxes. And this one is you are a patriot. I've watched this game being played before. It looks pretty cool. It's you're a patriot, a communist, or you are a rising star. If you're a patriot, you're the good guy. You're trying to like create films. If you're a communist, you're trying to like have the films not work out. And if you're a rising star, you're trying to have it come out to be a tie because you're playing both sides because you just don't care who is in power. You just want to be a star. It has like these little tasks. You have to create a movie, and so it's got like a challenge similar, like you have to pass similar to like a resistance. But in this one, to pass the challenge, you have to play cards on it, and the only way you can play cards on it, if I remember correctly, is you have to roll dice with stars on them, and you might roll dice with blanks on them, but you might be a patriot though. But because you rolled blanks and you had to play a blank and you couldn't contribute to that film, it makes you look very guilty. So that's where a lot of the fighting and the conflict of the game happens, along with all the conflict of just verbal manipulation above the table as well. It looks super fun. A game I definitely want to try out, even though I have limited my social deduction games in my collection because I just like Blood on the Clock Tower at this point. So I would love to play this game though, and if I liked it, I would buy it as well. So it's 1,718 people own it. It's number 88 of the year. 5,416 BGG ranking, which put it at 195 out of 2023 games. It's got a 7.26 BGG rating, which put it 91 out of these 100 games. Next up at number 87 is the Oranienburger Canal. Build industries and infrastructure the Rosenberg way, which makes me run the opposite way. Oh no. Yeah, I'm not a huge Rosenberg fan. It is designed by Uwe Rosenberg and published by Spielworks. My first $100 game I ever bought was Caverna, and I did keep it in my collection for quite a while. I did enjoy the game. I love the way that the puzzles work in them and the crunchiness of the Euro games are. And he's a very smart designer. He makes very good games. They're just too dry for my taste. That's what it comes down to. And this one is looks like a dry Euro game as well, but also very crunchy and very smart and makes you probably feel very good by the end of the game. So it's very yellow and very green, which is better than beige. It has one of those little wheels that he uses, like in Glass Road, I believe is one of the games that he used it in before. And what you do is you are trying to build the infrastructure of your little town or whatever, and building streets and railways and bridges and whatnot. And at the end of the game, the player with the best industrial area and the best infrastructure wins. And it's got a solo game to it as well. So it's a Rosenberg game. The first review I heard of it was actually really bad, but then every other review after that has just loved the game and said, oh, Rosenberg's back to his like Caverna and Agricola and Le Havre days. And so, yeah, if you like Rosenberg, I'm definitely in the very tiny minority on this that doesn't love Rosenberg. So if you do like him, like most of board gamers do, definitely check this one out because I've heard nearly all good things about it. Its stats are 1,722 people own it, which is number 87 of the year. And it has been given a 1,957 ranking. It hasn't been given that ranking. It's earned that ranking, which puts it number 46 out of all games that came out in 2023. It has an 8.01 BGG rating, which is a 31 out of these top 100 games. I always say a game over 7.5 is like universally really well liked. And so an 8.0 is like super well liked. My screen just dropped to 85%. I want it back to 100%. Here we go. So next up, I'm not going to talk about these two games other than like give you one stat from each of them. And that is because they were on the 91 through 100 list. So you can go back and listen to that list and see the original 91 through 100. And these games have actually jumped up into the 90 through 81 part of the list. And that is Empire's End at 86, and which is the civilization game where it's like your civilization's falling apart. And Marvel Zombies X-Men Resistance, which is the X-Men part of the Marvel zombie side game. I don't really know I went over it in the last video. Anyways, it's 1,723 people own it. Empire's End, 1,740 people own Marvel Zombies X-Men Resistance, which put it at 85 and 86 overall. Okay, number 84, I'm not going to talk about a whole lot either, because I already talked about the Unmatched series in this video. So this is just another Unmatched module for the game, and it is for King and Country, which is also another Marvel module for the game. This one adds Black Widow, Black Panther, and Winter Soldier. And want to know something crazy? I know all 3 of those characters, which blows my mind because I didn't know any of them from the Teen Spirit set. So these characters may be a little bit more known overall. Anyways, their stats for Unmatched for King and Country is 1,743 people at the time of me collecting this data have said they own the game, and that put it at 84 out of all 2023 games. Its BGG ranking is 3,892, which gives it a ranking of 124th out of all 2023 games. And its BGG rating is 8.35, which makes it the 17th highest rated game out of these 100 games. And we're going to even get a higher rating the next game, and that is number 83, Europa Universalis, which says Europe from the 100 Years' War to the Age of Revolution. It's by Ivan Bettelson by Ager Games. Oh boy, there it is. And so, Europa Universalis. This is a game when I got into gaming back in 2010. I would have just poured over the rule book, learned the game, set it up on my table, invited my friends over and said, or gone over to their house because that's where we usually played games. And then I would have said, we are playing this game, guys, because I know our group will love this because it is just a super heavy, all-out dudes on a map game with a lot of, it says it's a 4X game, but through the history point of view instead of space. It's got so sandboxy type feel to it. It's huge. It's a lot of diplomatic stuff happening. There's obviously a lot of wars going on in the game. It's not a war game, but a lot of wars happening and battles happening within the game, like these type of games have. It's got a weight of 4.64 out of 5 on BGG. It's just huge. And it lasts, it goes over 300 years. From the age of discovery, reformation, absolutism, and revolutions, spanning more than 300 years of history. And it's going to feel like 300 years when you play it because it's 300 minutes long, which is 5 hours if you don't want to do the math. And I'm guessing it goes more like 6 to 7 hours when you play the game. At least in my group it would. So it's a huge game. Just giant game. It's got a really high rating because the people rating the games are the people playing it, because someone that only likes games at like Splendor, Ticket to Ride weight are never going to play this game, who would maybe rate this game really low. So let's talk about its stats real quick. It's owned by 1,748 people, which put it 83rd out of 2023 games. It's got a BGG ranking of 1,722, which put it the 37th highest ranked game out of 2023 games as of now. It's got an 8.77 BGG rating, 8.77, which put it 6th on this list. That's not even number 1 on this list. That's number 6 on this list. Just a loved game within this genre. If you like this genre, check it out. I just need someone to teach it to me now because I'm too old now to be learning these rules on my own. I won't even remember them by the time I get it to the table because I'm old. So go to the next game, which is number 82, the 82nd most owned game of 2023 games. And that is Hoplomachi Remastered, a tactical game where gladiators go head to head. It's by Adam Carlson and Josh Carlson and Logan Giannini. Carlson's, of course, founders of Chip Theory Games, who published the game. My fellow Minnesotans, I've never played a Chip Theory game. I've read the rules to a lot of them, and they just, for whatever reason, they're super well written rule books, but my brain just does not click reading those rule books, and I feel really dumb about it. I need someone to teach them to me because I want to play Chip Theory games, just haven't been able to. So Hoplomachi Remastered took the old Hoplomachi games that they had out, took the best parts of them, added some more to them, and now you have Hoplomachi Remastered. Also, that came out, I believe, in 2023. I think it's higher up on this list. Maybe, if I remember correctly, is Hoplomachi Victorum, which is the solo-only game. That's not what this is. This is the multiplayer game where you're going head-to-head with your gladiators. And, yep, it's not the same, but what's cool, because Chip Theory Game always has chips in their games, you can take these chips from these games and put them into Victorum, and I believe you can take Victorums as well and put them into Hoplomachi Remastered as well. So, super cool. Did I go over the stats? I don't remember, so let's do it again. If I did, 1,753 people own it, putting it at 82nd for the year, 2,993 BGG ranking, which put it 75th out of 2023 games, 8.15 BGG rating, which put it 25 on this list out of 100 games, and yeah, very well loved Chip Theory game. They have their following. And that leaves us to the last game on this list at number 81, with 1,753 people owning this game. Just like Hoplomachi Remastered, the tiebreaker that I used was its BGG ranking, which is a little bit higher. 2,000, excuse me, I have to cough. I'm back. So it has a 2,353 BGG ranking, which puts it at 54 for the year out of all 2023 games that were published. And then it has a 7.84 BGG rating, which put it at 47th out of these 100 games. That is Astro Knights. It's a cooperative deck building game with an easy setup and no shuffling required. By Nick Little and Will Sobel, Indie Boards and Cards. I am not the target audience for this. Out of all like the big game mechanisms, deck building is one of my least favorites, even though it appears in like one of my favorite games of all time, which is Final Girl. Just not an overall huge fan of deck building, but this one has me intrigued because there's no shuffling required. One, I don't have to constantly shuffle my cards, which is nice. Two, I get to know where my things are in my deck. Also kind of nice. I think. I've never tried it before, but also seems like it's really nice. So what you're doing in this game is you have your characters and you try to build them up, and you're trying to attack a boss because it's a boss battler game as well. So each boss, there's 4 different bosses in the game, each have their own deck. You only fight one at a time, or one in a game, but it gives you some variety when you play the game. And yeah, everything I've heard about the game of Astro Knights is that it is very nice. That's number 81. That's the last on this list. This is my 3rd time recording this video. My voice is shot. I can barely talk anymore. So I'm going to call it a night. Next week, or sometime soon, I will be going through the next installment, which is 80 through 71. And yeah, that's it. Peace. Stay cool. I'll see y'all soon. Bye. I need water. Much better.